Okay, can you start now, please?
We're going to learn how we can use Hi, in this video we're going to learn how we can use parameters to make our functions even more reusable. Parameters allow us to customize the commands used in our functions. Parameters are useful because they give us the ability to tailor our function values to suit our specific needs. Let's look at this example called makeCircle. The function is being defined on line 1, and the commands in the function have Tracy draw us a blue circle with the radius of 50 and then move forward the diameter of the circle. But what if we wanted to then draw a red circle, or if we wanted two circles of different sizes? Without the ability to use parameters, we would need to make entirely new functions to accomplish this. Parameters make it easy to alter certain parts of a function, so that we can reuse the same function to accomplish multiple tasks. Let's take a deeper look into how parameters are created and used. To use a parameter, you must first include its name in the function definition. The name you give the parameter, such as color choice, must be the same name placed throughout your function commands wherever you want to use that value. When calling a function, if the function requires any parameters, you have to include the arguments, or parameter values, between the parentheses so that the function can use these values when performing the commands. You can use as many parameters as you want, but make sure that when calling the function, you enter an argument or value for each parameter. Let's take a look at this syntax in action. In this code, we have a function called makeCircle that is taking two parameters, which are called circle color and radius. The parameters are created between the parentheses after the function name. The parameters are then being used throughout the function to control the color of the circle, the radius of the circle, and the distance Tracy moves forward after drawing the circle. You'll notice in the forward command, the radius parameter is being multiplied by 2. You can perform mathematical equations on parameters to control your code even further. In our function call, you'll see that we have provided the two arguments to be used throughout the function. We are first using blue for our circle color parameter and 50 for our radius parameter. Tracy reads the arguments in order and assigns them to the parameters in the same order. After the first function is complete, the same function is being called, but instead with red for the circle color parameter and 20 for the radius. When we run this code, this is the output we get, and we did it all in just 9 lines of code. In this example, we want to ask the user for 3 radius values, and then draw 3 circles centered on the canvas with those radii. Because we're not going to know what the radius values are going to be ahead of time, we need to write a code that will be able to work for any value entered. Let's do a bit of planning before we start coding. Let's start with the biggest circle here. The radius of this circle is 100, and we needed to move down 100 to get to the bottom of the circle. For the medium-sized circle, its radius is 50, and we needed to move Tracy down 50 pixels to get to the bottom. And for the smallest circle, its radius is 25, and we needed to move 25 pixels down to the bottom. So we can make the correlation that no matter what the radius is, we need to move Tracy down the same amount as the radius to get to the bottom. In order for this to always work though, before we start drawing the next circle, we need to move Tracy back to the center position. Now let's write this code. Let's write a function that will move Tracy to the correct starting position.
All right, let's continue now. Let's pause the video, okay? Now, who understands how we use parameter in a function? You guys know about function, right? So, and how do we use parameter? Okay, I think we've seen function before, okay? So you use a function to do something, right? So, but for you to be able to put an input, right, into a function, right, you would put a parameter inside it, right? Like what you have right now, speed 5. That 5 is a parameter, all right? So that 5 is a parameter, is an argument that you put inside a function, so that next time you can say speed 20, speed 30, so that you don't need to repeat that particular function several times, okay? You just need to be changing the parameter, and then it will be taking that parameter in and do that operation, okay? So if you want your function to do several things with different number or different inputs, right, you will pass a parameter inside that particular function, so that when your function takes that parameter in, it can use that parameter to do what is it's expected to do. So next time, you can be changing that parameter every time, right? For instance, if you have a function that say add, you want to add two numbers together, you can say add A, comma B, okay? So you can be changing the A can be 2 today, it can be 3 today, so you'll be adding them together. Like we have in the speed now, you can say speed 30, so you move 30 speed, or 20. So most of you've used functions, whether when you are doing JavaScript or even in this Python. When you have that function, anything that you have in those close brackets, they are called parameters, okay? So is that okay? Can anyone now explain it to me now in a clear way? If you want, you can kind of raise your hand, please. Okay, Gabriel.
Oh, my hand just left up by accident.
Okay, all right. Any other person?
Sorry, but we can't hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that. So I will repeat that. Okay. So what I said, can you hear me now?
No.
Oh, okay. That's weird. All right. There are two voices. Okay, 1 minute. Let me check that. Oh, sorry about that. It's okay. How about now? Is that okay now?
Yes.
All right, cool. Okay. Now, the question was, okay, who actually knows how to explain parameters, right? I've kind of explained it before, so I can explain right now if you are not clear. I just want to know if anyone understands, actually. Okay, all right. I will explain it again. Right now, on your screen, you have speed, right? Speed is a function, right? Speed is a function, and in that speed, you have 5 inside this bracket. Yes, Caris.
I'm hearing two voices because they're both jumbled up.
All right, 1 minute. Let me check that again.
Or maybe I'm viewing the stream on it.
Okay, maybe that's coming from someone then.
I can still hear two voices jumbled up.
1 minute.
Okay, now I can hear you properly.
Okay, how about now?
Yes.
So I think Caris is coming from you, okay? You need to look at, I think you might have opened maybe YouTube, okay? Or somewhere else, actually. If you look at that.
And now I'm hearing 3 voices.
Yeah, you need to look at the, I think you might have opened YouTube, okay? Because when you're muted, I can see. So you need to look at your browser where you opened, if you haven't opened any YouTube channel, okay? All right, cool. So quickly, I'll go through the parameters now, okay? Because of our time, okay? So all of you will have used functions before, okay? So anytime you say speed, pen up, pen down, you are actually calling a function, okay? So all these pen down, pen up, tracy commands that you've called, they're all functions. So now some of them don't have any parameter, right? Some of them has got a lot of parameters, maybe 1 or 2, right? So, and when you say you call a command and you have open and close brackets, right? You are calling a function. Someone else have written that function. So now for you to call a function and also pass an input into that function, for that function to do something based on what you just passed. So if you do that before, what you put inside that function is called a parameter. So like we have on this screen now that Tirolua is showing to us, right? On line 1, it's saying speed, open and close brackets, and inside the bracket, you have 5. That 5 is the parameter. So it's going to say to Tracy to move 5 speed, right? So that 5 is a parameter. And you can change that 5 to anything like 20, 30, 40. So basically, you are actually telling the Tracy to move maybe 20 speed, you put 20 inside. If you want Tracy to move with 40 speed, you put 40. But it's the same function that you are calling. You are only changing the parameters, right? You are only changing the parameter for that particular command. So that's how to use parameter, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Can someone explain it back to me, if that's okay? Okay, Tisha.
I don't want to explain. I can explain it.
Okay. Who else want? Can someone explain it to me, please? Okay, Gabriel.
I'm not sure everyone else is having the same thing, but where I am, you're talking quite fast, and also
Okay.
I don't get what we're doing.
Okay.
So I was just wondering if you could repeat at least half of what you said.
Okay, I'm going to repeat again, okay? I know it's quite, so let's go to the code, okay? Let me use the code to explain it to you, okay? So can you open one code for me? Let's go into the code, remove the, yeah. So let's go to the example. Okay, yeah, that should be the one. All right, cool. Okay, now what you have now in line 5, speed is a function, okay? It's a function. Also in line 9, you have draw circle, right? Draw circle is a function, right? And if you want to declare a function, you put def, D-E-F, right? At the beginning of that particular function, right? Okay, and you have draw circle as a function. Then you open brackets and you put radius inside. That radius that you have inside is the parameter. So that next time when you want to use that function, right, you can actually call draw circle, and then you can say that radius, yeah, okay, you can say radius is equal to 90, right, or 100. So instead of radius, you replace it with what you have, right? In line 21, right, you have first radius is equal to what the user entered. Then you call in line 25, right, where you have right now, you say draw radius, and you open and close bracket, and inside your open and close bracket, you say what is the radius of the circle you want to draw. You put them inside. That becomes the parameter of that particular draw circle, okay? Now, to repeat again, draw circle is a function, right? And inside the function, you would have to pass a parameter. So the parameter that we are passing here is radius. Okay, it's radius. So, And that would mean that anytime you call the function draw circle, you need to pass radius inside, whether it's 30 or it's 40 or it's 50, you need to pass it. The same way you have forward also is a function, and you say forward 20, forward 30. That 30 you are passing inside the function, it's called parameter, right? And on line 15, you have pen up, right? Pen up, open and close brackets. You can see the pen up has not got any parameter because you are not putting anything in line 15. If you check line 16, it says set position. Set position is a function also. And this is a question I want to pass to you now. Set position has got how many parameters? If you can type it for me. Yeah?
3.
Sorry? So
3.
3, okay. Nice try. 2.
2. 1.
Okay. So set position has got 2 parameters, which is 0 and 0. So on inline 16, so that's where you have the comma, okay, to say set position to X and Y axis, right? X and Y axis. So that's where you're setting the parameter. Jerome, can you put your camera off, please? Thank you. Okay, all right, is that okay, guys? So in functions, you write functions and you pass parameter to it. I know you guys are tired now, so we'll take a break, okay? We'll come back next week. I will still talk about this because you need to understand it, okay? Any question before we leave, okay?
Okay. No.
Any question?
I needed help today.
Okay, all right. Let's sort out some guys that got help. There will not be any app development or web development because I thought we were going to do demo, okay, today, but we'll do it in another time, okay? That's fine. So anyone that needs any help, okay, you can raise your hand quickly. We got 15 minutes. We can look at that now. Okay?
Wait. Can you use?
Are we allowed to leave?
Yeah, you're allowed to leave, okay? Thank you.
Uncle, is this the last lesson in Python?
No, we still have like 2 lessons, okay? That's why I'm trying to cover everything before we finish, okay?
Mr. DJ.
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye, Uncle.
This has to be in this part that we need help, or in another part.
And if it's Python, that's fine, okay?
Okay. So can I share my screen?
Yeah, no problem. So if you want to leave, you're free to leave, okay? So I think we already finished, okay? We only got 10 minutes or 15 minutes to help those guys that got issues.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Wait.